My name is Sarah Turner. I've been married for 9 years. I'm the mother of 7-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, and I work part-time while managing our home. My husband works in sales at a software development company and, I believe, earns a decent income. However, this means he often has to go on long business trips and work late, leaving few days he can spend at home. But, whenever he finds the time, he plays with the kids and always makes sure to give them gifts for seasonal events. He never complains about the kids' extracurricular activities. I think he's a good husband and a great father. This spring, he was assigned to a 3-year solo assignment. It's not a short period, so it took a while for the kids and me to come to terms with it. But you wouldn't want to change schools, right? Plus, if you came with me, you couldn't continue your extracurriculars. It's okay, it's only for a set period, and there's no need for everyone to come. Although it was hard, we ultimately decided to see him off. Even after he left, he kept in touch with the kids regularly. He would come home for birthdays, Christmas, and during the long vacations, spending wonderful times with us. But that was only for the first year. As time passed, the frequency of his calls gradually decreased. Now, in the 3rd year, winter has come, and he hasn't come home once. Soccer games, piano recitals, summer camp. He started breaking promises he made to the kids without a second thought. I get that work is tough, but please keep your promises to the kids. I'm not busy because I like it, you know. The kids are missing you. I know. But what can I do? It's work, after all. He said irritably and hung up the phone quickly. Lately, he's been harsher towards me as well. Surely, he must be very busy with work. After all, the 3-year assignment ends with the new year. I'm sure things will go back to how they were with my husband. I kept telling myself to just be patient until then. What do you mean you can't come home? I got called into an unexpected business meeting. There's nothing I can do about it. Today is the kid's birthday, you know? I know. I've transferred money for gifts, so they can buy whatever they like with it. Cut it out. Have you forgotten what the kids told you last time? They said they don't want presents, they just want to eat cake with you. To my indignation, my husband sighed deeply and replied, "Look, I'm sorry, but can't you try to understand my situation a bit more? Excuse me? I'm working hard for our family, and it hurts to be criticized like this." It was as if he was suggesting I was the one being unreasonable, and I was speechless for a moment. Also, my assignment's been extended a bit longer than planned. So, I'll be staying here for a while longer. Wait, what? It was supposed to be for a limited time, wasn't it? If I work hard here a bit longer, I might get a promotion. In that case, we'll come over there. Why would you do that? It's obvious, isn't it? The kids are turning 10. Rather than letting them feel sad about being away from their father any longer, changing schools is. Don't be so selfish. The kids' lives are more important, aren't they? They have their friends and activities all here, and you want them to give all that up just for me? It's not good to make decisions based on emotions like that. Besides, realistically, we can't live on your salary alone, can we? If I cut back on work, the kids would have to go without. His points seemed valid on the surface. But what was this feeling of unease? At that moment, he seemed unusually anxious. It was as if he was desperate to keep us from joining him at his assignment location. In the end, he unilaterally informed me of the assignment extension and hung up. How am I supposed to explain this to the kids? As I was lost in thought, my phone rang again. Hello, Sarah? Sorry for the sudden call. It's the kids' birthday today, right? Happy birthday to them. Oh, Kelly. You remembered? Of course. They're my nephews, after all. Kelly is my husband's sister, a single mother with a 1-year-old son. She gets along with everyone and treats me like her best friend, making her the most trustworthy person in the family to me. You seem down. Everything okay? Yeah, actually, it looks like Daniel got caught up with work again. The kids were looking forward to celebrating their birthday, so I feel terrible. What? Again? Breaking a promise to the kids like that is just awful of him. Wait up. I'm gonna come over with a cake and my son right now. Saying that, Kelly abruptly hung up and, true to her word, showed up at my house with a cake within the hour. She also helped with cooking and played with the kids. Thanks to Kelly coming over, even after I told the kids Dad couldn't make it because of work, they were able to celebrate their birthday without feeling disappointed. Seriously? So, Daniel won't be coming home for a while longer? Yeah. Apparently, he might get a promotion or something. Sarah, are you okay with that? Not really. The kids are growing up so fast, and if we keep living apart from their father. As the party was winding down, I shared my husband's situation with Kelly, and she listened sympathetically. It seems that since he started working, he hasn't been very involved with his own family, barely contacting or visiting Kelly and their parents. He's always been like that, hardly ever reaching out to us, so I had no idea about any of this. But, I don't know if I should say this. What? It's just, something feels off about Daniel right now. Kelly suddenly looked serious. Off? How so? Well, it's just, his behavior reminds me of my ex-husband. Kelly's words made my heart skip a beat. My ex was always busy too, always all about work. When I was pregnant with our son, he went on a month-long business trip to a tourist spot. When I said I wanted to visit, he suddenly got all panicky, telling me not to strain myself because I was pregnant and how it would be terrible if anything happened. And that was after he had never shown any interest in the pregnancy. That does sound suspicious. Yeah, and when I finally went to surprise him, I found out he was living with his mistress. Just ridiculous. That's tough. I'm sorry you went through that. It was all I could do to respond, feeling drained. Hearing Kelly's story made all my worst fears seem all too real. Honestly, I hadn't been completely without suspicion. But he's the father of my children, and I wanted to believe that, despite the distance, our hearts were still connected. I still want to believe that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you anxious with what I said. It's okay. Hey, Kelly. I hate to ask, but could you talk to Daniel? Lately, he hardly listens to me. Of course. I've been wanting to give him a piece of my mind anyway. Kelly readily agreed with a smile. Having someone like her during times when I feel alone is truly a blessing. Exactly 1 week later, Kelly came over to my house again. But that day, Kelly had a very serious look on her face and said, "Sarah, your husband's trouble. You'd better leave him ASAP." What? What happened all of a sudden? I went to check out Daniel's place. And guess what, there was a woman there. Oh. I almost collapsed. Having somewhat anticipated this might happen. There were signs, and I suspected he was hiding something. But having it confirmed was a massive shock. Did you talk to Daniel? No, he wasn't home when I went. It was the woman who answered. I see. What's this other woman like? Well, it's not an affair. What do you mean? It's worse than an affair. It's bigamy. A month later. As usual, I called my husband, with the kids excitedly waiting by my side to talk to their dad. I switched to video call to show him the kids' faces, but he was hesitant to switch his screen on. Hello? I switched to video call to show him the kids' faces, but he was hesitant to switch his screen on. And for some reason, I could faintly hear a baby crying on his end. Is there a baby there? Oh, yeah. My sister and nephew are visiting. It's a bit messy here, just wait, I'll go outside. As my husband opened the front door, he was met with the smiling faces of Kelly and me. Well, if Kelly's supposed to be here, she's actually with me. Surprise! How you been, bro? The kids, seeing their dad for the first time in a while, happily jumped into his arms. However, my husband's eyes went wide, and he froze with his mouth half open. What? Why? Daniel, what's going on? From behind my husband, a woman about Kelly's age appeared, holding a baby in her arms. Ah, hey there. Sadie. Just dropping by for a visit. Oh, it's Kelly. You should have let me know. Sorry, wanted to surprise my brother. I see. And who might this be? A friend of Kelly's? Nice to meet you. I'm Kelly's sister-in-law. Sister-in-law? Kelly, you have siblings besides Daniel? The woman introduced as Sadie seemed kind and gentle, completely oblivious to the situation. I'm Daniel's wife. Wait, hold on. What do you mean? We came to see the kid's father, what about it? Father? Wait, what? Daniel, is this? No, it's not what it looks like, it's… Excuse me, but what is your relationship with my husband? Your husband? What are you talking about? Daniel is my husband. We are married. And this child? This is our child, born earlier this year. I see. But legally, he is my husband, and these children are his and mine. I then showed her a copy of kids' birth certificates. There were clearly listed the four of us, without Sadie or the baby's names. What? No, that can't be. Daniel said he filed our marriage. He was even there for the birth. Wow, seriously. Bro, you're really the worst. Oh no! My husband let out a pathetic cry, pushed away the kids clinging to him, and ran off, only to trip over Kelly's outstretched leg and faceplant into the ground. Don't you dare run. Ugh, why did it come to this? Get up, you trash. Kelly forced my husband to stand up, while he was crying, holding his face that he'd just smashed. Despite the kids asking, Dad, are you okay? Does it hurt? He wouldn't even meet their eyes. Quit your whining and explain. You thought you could hide this forever? It's not like that. I was going to tell you, but the timing was. How about we talk inside? That's okay, right? Yeah, sure. Kelly, grumbling, dragged my husband, who could only mutter vague responses, into the house. No wonder there's been no contact with the family. Hey, you got a local wife and committed bigamy while on assignment isn't something you can just bring up. Never thought I'd find someone worse than my ex. Don't call me trash. It's all your fault this happened. Why show up out of the blue without calling? What? What's wrong with a sister visiting her brother? Even so, you could have come alone. Why bring Sarah along? If I came alone, it would have come out sooner or later. Besides, I visited here about 2 months ago. What? Came to see my brother, but a friend answered. Said she was your wife and kid. Shocking, right? You never said anything. Why would I? Didn't want to play into the hands of a cheating jerk. You've been playing house with my friend as your local wife for 2 years? Hurting your own wife and kids, and my friend too. Makes me sick to think you're related. That doesn't mean you had to tell Sarah, hurting her on purpose. So if I kept quiet, nobody gets hurt, and that's okay with you? Gross. Shut up. I've always hated that about you. As if I'd keep quiet. I love my sister too much. And stop trying to shift the blame onto me. Are you kidding? If you hadn't meddled, this wouldn't have happened. Was he always this dumb? I can't deal with this. I'm gonna go play with the kids. You three sort this out. With that, Kelly left with the kids to play somewhere. Always quick to act. The one who did something hurtful wasn't Kelly, it was you, wasn't it? Daniel, this is a joke, right? Sadie, still unable to grasp the reality, tearfully confronted my husband. You said we weren't married, that you'd take responsibility for our child. We even went to checkups together, picked out names, talked about a belated honeymoon. I'm sorry. It was all lies. I see, so that's why you couldn't come back home. 2 years ago. That's when you started treating our family carelessly. I wonder why I didn't notice until now. I'm sorry, to both of you, I'm really sorry. My husband was sobbing, rubbing his forehead against the floor. This child is really yours? You acknowledged paternity? Yes. I'm just curious, but did you really think you could keep this hidden forever? You must have imagined what would happen if it got out, right? Well, when I first got assigned, I couldn't fit in at work. I was struggling all alone away from my family, and when I didn't see any results, I got so frustrated I went out drinking. That's where I met Sadie, the waitress there. We got close after I kept going back, and one thing led to another. I don't care how you two met. Answer the question. I hadn't really thought about what would happen if it got out. But living with Sarah and the kids, and having her by my side, it just felt so right. Work started going well too, and before I knew it, Sadie was pregnant. I see. So you found yourself in a situation you couldn't get out of? Lying about being single, pretending to have filed a marriage certificate. What have you done? Just saying it out loud made it seem even more unbelievable. My anger had come full circle to disbelief. I could only sigh deeply. Sadie, holding her sleeping child, was staring blankly, completely stunned. I'm deeply sorry for my husband's actions. I offered my sincere apologies. It seemed clear she had no idea my husband was already married. It's terrible. I trusted him. I thought we could definitely be happy together. I even told my parents and friends, and they celebrated with us. That's terrible. My sympathy for Sadie naturally came out in my voice. Considering she's about the same age as Kelly, she must have started dating my husband in her 20s. Given the timeline, this child is undoubtedly my husband's and hers. To think she got caught up with such a fool for 3 years. And even had a child. I'm filing for divorce. I'll demand a lump sum for child support. Having an affair in company housing is serious, so I'll have to report it to his employer too. Oh, but it would be a problem if he got fired. Then he couldn't pay alimony. Wait, please! Based on your salary, the going rate is about $1,000 per kid per month, so $2,000 a month for both, which is $24,000 a year. The kids are 10 now, so for the next 10 years until they're adults. You love your job, so it shouldn't be an impossible amount for you to pay, right? I don't want a divorce. After all this, what are you saying? You're the one at fault here. You don't get to say you don't want a divorce. It's fine. If we divorce, you can officially marry Sadie. No way. What? What do you mean no way? What about me and this child? It's not like that. I care about both Sarah and Sadie. What? I ended up loving both, so it can't be helped. Hearing my husband declare this so loudly left both me and Sadie speechless. I realized something over these 3 years. The kids, my job, everything is important to me. I can't do without any of it, and I can't just choose one over the others. That's why I've been making everyone happy. What is he even talking about? For a moment, I thought my head or ears were malfunctioning. I've been putting more into our household expenses to make sure Sarah and the kids aren't struggling, and here, I've been living properly as a family with her and the child. Looking at Sadie, she was just as shocked, her mouth agape in astonishment. Good, it wasn't just me thinking his words were madness. The promotion isn't a lie. If I work harder here, I can climb higher. I can provide a better life for both families. I'll buy everything you want, make sure you don't lack anything in terms of education or hobbies. I'll make everyone happy. So, shut up. That moment might have been the most authoritative my voice has ever sounded. Excuse me? What's all this nonsense about caring for me, Sadie, the kids, and your job? Making everyone happy, really? Are you out of your mind? Why are you angry? Isn't it natural to want to make everyone happy because they're all important to me? Don't joke with me. You haven't made anyone happy. You're just about to make everyone miserable. Don't you see? I shouted with all my might. Not caring that the baby woke up and started crying. Hey, calm down. The baby's crying. Shut up. Do you have any idea how lonely and anxious me and the kids have been while you were playing house with her? The soccer games. The piano recitals. How hard do you think? How hard they worked just to get praised by you. They did it all for that. And you just trampled over it with I have work. Is that what you call making us happy? I knew it was bad I couldn't show my face, but my earnings are why you could afford those activities. So you think sending money and letting the activities continue makes you content? Do you know what that means? It's like declaring yourself an ATM. And in exchange for not coming back to us, you've been physically present here for Sadie and this child as a husband and father. That's about it, right? Yeah, what's wrong with that? My kids had me all to themselves for 7 years, so it's only fair this child gets me to herself now. They're the older siblings, after all. Disgusting. Don't talk about those kids. Don't drag them into your twisted worldview. And if that's the case, you could have just told us openly. I need to make my other wife and child happy, so I can't come back. But no, what did you say? Don't be selfish, the kids' lives here are more important. If you thought what you were doing was right, there was no need to make me the villain, was there? I didn't tell you the truth because I didn't want to hurt you or the kids. So you admit that what you're doing is hurting people? What make everyone happy? Everything you're saying is shallow. My husband had nothing more to say and just looked down sadly. Was he seriously making these insane claims, or was he pretending to be delusional to escape reality? I'll say it again. I'm divorcing you. I'll take custody of the children. If you pay child support in a lump sum, I won't ask for alimony. It's going to be tens of thousands, which might be tough to pay all at once. Wait. All right, I'll leave Sadie. We never officially married anyway. If Sarah doesn't want me to, I won't see her or the child anymore. You're remarkably shameless. So that's what you want, right? You're saying that just makes me want to divorce you even more. Why? A person who throws away his girlfriend and child the moment it gets tough can't be trusted. So, I'm leaving him. You can do what you want after that. You can officially marry him if you want. No, I don't want someone like him either. What? Why would you say that? I've been with you and the kids as a family until now. Don't act like a family man after saying you'd abandon me and the child. Right. I'm glad you're a sensible person. I'm really sorry my husband caused you trouble. This qualifies as serious marriage fraud, so feel free to do as you like. Yes, I'll also demand alimony and child support and then leave him. Thanks to Mrs. Turner, I've woken up. Thank you so much. You should file a non-acceptance notice then. With him, who knows, he might try to register your marriage without permission. I didn't know that. Thank you. See? We and the kids are all important, right? So even after we split, you can make sure those important people don't end up destitute by paying what you owe. Hey, don't decide everything on your own. I don't want a divorce, and I don't want to leave them either. Not wanting to leave Sadie and a baby? Don't be ridiculous. Are you really planning on committing bigamy? That's not allowed. And as the guilty party, you don't have the right to refuse divorce. Oh, by the way, Kelly said she's going to tell your parents about today. Even if you get divorced and are alone, they don't want you coming back home. That's a very reasonable stance. They think having you nearby would make their son dumber. My husband collapsed to his knees. Why, everything was going fine. I've been trying to love both people I fell for. And now, both are leaving me. And because of her, I'll lose my parents too. If only she wasn't here. Tears streaming down his face, my husband looked like he was trying to play the victim. From this point on, he seemed as alien to me as someone from another planet. I couldn't understand how he could act like a victim in this situation. Feeling enraged, I delivered a final blow. You'll be abandoned by the children too, and lose everything. At those words, my husband looked up sharply. Honestly, I hesitated until the end. You were a good father to the children. But today, you didn't speak to them once. Didn't even try to look them in the eye. That's when I knew you don't love them. They're already 10 years old. Even if I kept hiding it, they'd vaguely sense what you did. Now that they know the truth, you can't be left near them anymore. Don't make my children suffer any longer. After saying what I needed to say, my husband covered his face and began to sob uncontrollably. Afterward, I left his lodging with Sadie. She offered to pay me compensation, but I respectfully declined. I see her more as a victim in this situation, and considering she has a newborn to care for, I couldn't possibly demand such a thing from her. The issue was with the children, and after much deliberation, I decided to explain the situation to them properly. I thought it would deeply hurt them, but avoiding the topic felt like it would only make things worse. In the end, the kids accepted their father's mistakes, but refused to forgive him. They angrily told him, "We don't need a dad who makes mom cry." I believe making my children say such things makes me as guilty as my husband. As for my husband, once he realized he couldn't win us over, he apparently tried to reconcile with Sadie. She sternly warned him she'd report him for stalking if he persisted. The news of his double life, using the company apartment for his affairs, spread quickly at his workplace. It's a miracle he wasn't fired. But any chance of promotion was obviously scrapped, and his future as a sidelined employee was all but confirmed. The child support for all 3 kids, amounting to tens of thousands, was paid in a lump sum, depleting his savings. Now, he's struggling with alimony payments while being scorned at work. Since then, Sadie and I have become friends. Occasionally going out with Kelly as well. It's like having a unique group of mom friends. Sadie moved back to her parents, found a job, and is doing her best raising her child. With the help of Kelly and my in-laws, I plan to pour twice as much love into my children to make up for the absence of their father.